What's up everyone, I'm Matt, this is Recover and Ready, and it's time to talk Versus System 2 PCG. Today, we're back with Community Cuts, featuring the Gen Con World Championship winning deck, Mystique, piloted by Jose Barreros. Jose's been on a tear as of late, taking down consecutive events with Worlds, followed by the Ohio Regional. I followed up with Jose to find out how he would approach Mystique in an open format like Multiverse. After a bit of thought, he told me that the deck list was tight and he probably wouldn't change anything. Despite specific formats quickly coming and going in this game, if you want to build Mystique, it would certainly be amiss to not at least reference Jose's successful list. Hopefully this list can be a piece of that puzzle for players moving forward and experimenting with or trying to beat Mystique, whether casually or competitively. With that, let's get to the list and talk Multiverse/past incursion Mystique. Mystique is a Femme Fatale affiliated main character, originally from the A-Force box and with the upgrade from the Legacy box. What makes Mystique such an exciting and appealing main character is her level 3 identity theft ability, where she can flip a yellow and then she can choose a level 2 Marvel main character from outside the game and transform into that character. This is an incredibly fun ability because it lets you curate a pile of 3 non-Mystique main characters that you can basically transform into and hopefully be able to set it up in a way to where you can handle any situation that you think your opponent's deck might present. So now that we've hinted at where we're going, let's go ahead and see how we get there. Mystique's level 1 and level 2 are nearly identical. On both cards, we have low attack and high defense. They both have the Masquerade ability, which is anytime combat red, choose another face-up character. Mystique gains attack this combat until her attack is the same as that character's, and that ability plays into our level up condition, Bitter Fury at level 1 and Still Bitter at level 2, which reads, whenever Mystique gains attack, she gains that much XP, and to level up from 1 to 2, we need 10 XP, and to level up from 2 to 3, we need 9 XP. Of course, the A-Force box does present us with a different level 2 Mystique, but in reality, most games we're going to want to ignore that because our deck and strategy is really warped around getting to level 3 as fast as we can so that we can change into some awesome main characters and thereby close out games. And with all that, we're back to level 3 Mystique, who's a 5'12", now has 6 health, still has Masquerade, has identity theft so she can transform into other main characters. Let's go see what those main characters are. Jose's transformation pile includes Joseph from New Brotherhood, Deadpool from the original base box, and Cosmo from Galactic Guardians. Joseph gives us a 6'6" flight range with basically every ability we've seen Magneto have up to this point. His magnetic suppression ability helps control big boards by giving all your guys a sort of pseudo-lethal in the sense that your enemy characters won't be able to recover after a single stun. In Multiverse particularly, Master of Magnetism, which can KO enemy equipment, can come in very handy hitting things like the Nullifier or other pesky equipment. The future is now going to help us beef up our X-Men and Brotherhood supporting characters, which is going to play into There's Just What I Want, which is going to help us put like a million +1/+1 counters on Joseph. This is particularly good against a lot of photo decks, which traditionally don't have much access to removing counters or daze type effects. He can pretty much be a stonewall in those circumstances. And of course, the same applies when you play against illustrated decks that might be inclined to skimp on such abilities. Before moving on to Deadpool, the star of the show, let's talk about everyone's favorite dog, Cosmo. He's a 310 with range, but what we're using him for is his No More Mr. Nice Dog ability, which lets us name a keyword or superpower during the main phase and basically shut down that power until our next turn. This is a no ifs, thens, or buts type of ability. They're not going to be able to gain that power, they're going to lose that power, they can't appear with that power, and that power doesn't even need to be on the board for you to name it. This is absolutely killer in Multiverse if you're facing down a combo deck, particularly ones that are super all-in, like Pixie Max for example, in which maybe they're not really doing much outside of trying to goldfish, find their pieces, and then combo off. Not saying that there might not exist any outs to this, but it's rough. You might just shut their whole game down on the spot. And the main character that we're probably going to lean towards most of the time, Deadpool. What we really want here is his "Oh, there's someone, hi there" ability, which is a yellow ability in the main phase that says for the rest of the game, Deadpool can attack enemy players. A player can only be attacked if all its characters are stunned, while defending the players is 0-1, has 1 health, and counts as a supporting character. In a sense, Deadpool brings us out to combo land. We just gotta get all their characters face down and then smack them once, and they are dead. And now that we've reviewed our transformation pile options, let's get on to the game plan. The deck's pretty flexible. Depending on your opponent's plays, you're going to pick what direction you're going to go, but typically it's going to look like grow Mystique to level up, interact with your opponent's board, then choose the right transformation according to the situation. With that in mind, we're going to break down the deck list into the following categories to help us understand what's going on here. We're going to start off with level up enablers, then we're going to move on to kill facilitators, and last but not least, tech and utility cards that help round out the deck. At 3 and 4 recruit points, Unis the Untouchable and Unis are both big beaters who can basically help you level up all the way from 1 to 2 or from 2 to 3 by themselves. We're playing 4 copies of each. Getting you 10 or 12 XP all at once by flipping a single red is no joke. And if you happen to top deck one of these guys while you're at level 3 and if you've transformed into Joseph at that point, being able to put 10 or 12 counters on Joseph really makes him hard to deal with. Unis isn't the only new tool that Mystique gets from new sets. Dramatic Entrance plus Marvel Girl gets you an easy and efficient level up as early as turn 1 with added benefits. Play Dramatic when Mystique is attacked to summon in the new Marvel Girl from X-Force and make her the defender. Use Marvel Girl's ETB to raise Mystique's attack by 10, level up, and all the while you're wounding whatever attacked you with Marvel Girl. Hopefully it's your opponent's MC. This combo is so good that Jose included a playset of each of these cards. Now that we've covered our most important level up tools, let's talk about kill facilitators. Like I said before, your go-to transformation is Deadpool, who allows you to OTK your opponent as long as you can attack them with Deadpool while all of their characters are stunned. We'll call this chapter More Recent Cards That Make Mystique Good. The plot twist, This and That, is tailor-made for ensuring your victory with Deadpool as your transformation character. Not only is this plot twist on team for Deadpool, but since the attacking player gets priority to play plot twists, and since in Versus the default is that your plot twists resolve before passing priority, if you swing in with Deadpool for the kill, hold priority, and play This and That, it'll resolve, allowing Deadpool to kill your opponent without your opponent to even have a chance to respond. Since this card is really important, but we only really need to see one in order to pull off the combo win, we're playing 3 copies of This and That. The thing is though, we still gotta make sure that all your opponent's characters are face down in order for you to even be able to attack directly with Deadpool. But no worries, we're playing a few supporting characters with the ability to turn guys face down out of combat in order to facilitate this. Let's start with our 2 copies of Banshee. Banshee is a 4-cost, 6/5 flight with 1 health, and when Banshee appears, you can daze an enemy character. Go ahead and daze your opponent's biggest character and then attack a smaller one with Banshee and have 2 guys face down easily. And along these same lines, in addition to Banshee, we are playing 4 copies of Boomerang and 3 copies of Lilith. What's most applicable with Deadpool is that once during the main phase, Boomerang will allow you to daze a front and back row character, and Lilith will give you a daze, and then repeatable stuns turn after turn. Once again, between all this out of combat daze and stun, plus your attacks, our goal is to get all of your opponent's guys face down so that we can swing in for the alt win with Deadpool. And since we're already on the topic of Boomerang and Lilith, this is a great time to transition over to talking about tech and utility cards. Boomerang's wide array of, well, boomerangs gives you the ultimate Swiss Army knife that ideally hits 2 guys a turn. Bladerang's negative counter can swing the combat step in your favor. Gasorang provides outs to annoying keywords. Gravityrang's pseudo freeze can buy you an extra turn. Screamerang lets you smash him without fear. And Shatterang lets you take out your opponent's most annoying equipment: nullifiers, rescue armor, Chitara weaponry, Darkhold, etc. In addition to the daze and stun that we already mentioned, Lilith can get you out of a bind by putting direct wounds on a supporting character, essentially giving you the opportunity to double wound it in a single turn and KO or remove a supporting character from the game, especially useful on guys like Ego that present an annoying wall or characters that you simply can't muster up any other way to deal with. Let's talk about our 4 copies of X23 and 4 copies of Mutant Control Act, both great tech cards to have in the deck. X23 is a 3-cost 4/3 with 2 health, but what we really like here is her Scared Stiff ability, where in the main phase you can flip a red and make it so enemy characters can't use superpowers until your next turn. Sometimes shutting down your opponent's superpowers for the turn gives you the window of opportunity that you need to close out the game or even just get through a turn successfully. But depending on your opponent's main character, early in the game, this might just read that your opponent has to wait to level up for a little bit. This is, of course, due to the fact that a number of main characters have superpowers which are tied to their XP condition. And then of course, there's a lot of main characters that just have really annoying superpowers, such as the egregious hide ability on Invisible Woman, etc, etc. And since we are talking multiverse here, we have to be prepared for the ever ubiquitous Dark Phoenix. And for this problem, we have Mutant Control Act to help us out. You are certainly going to want to save one of these for stopping your opponent's Dark Phoenix from deconstructing the universe and ruining your day. Ahab and his hounds are what's going to give you the team affiliation necessary to play Mutant Control Act in the first place. So let's talk Ahab. He's a 2-cost 3/1 with range and 1 health, and he's got Release the Hound. When he appears, you put a hound into your hand. You get to build a hound pile before you start the game, and you start with that pile on the side. It's going to have exactly 4 different supporting characters in it with the team affiliation Brotherhood, Mutant Resistance, or X-Men. They cannot already be in your deck, and they cannot share any names with each other or other characters in your deck. In this deck, Jose chose to include Iceman, Cypher, Wolverine, and Deadpool, all from the X-Men team. Iceman is here to slow down aggressive main characters in the early game and slow down your opponent's biggest, baddest stuff in the late game. Cypher is going to be here to fix your hand, either because of bad draws, bad mulligans, or whatever, or just because you're trying to dig to a combo. Wolverine is here because he's a good beater who sticks around, and because he's great at hitting your opponent's main character in the face. But additionally and specifically, Jose chose to include him because his 3 health really makes him useful to stay on the board long enough in order to use your Mutant Control Act effectively. And Deadpool's here to help whittle down your opponent's main board that's going wide, or to get to annoying and pesky guys in the back row that are being protected. I'm looking at you, photo. All in all, Ahab is an extremely efficient card. He's cheap, he provides you card advantage, and he gives you sort of a modal approach to interaction. Jose included a full 4 copies of Ahab in the deck because Ahab gives this deck the depth and flexibility that it needs to solve a lot of problems. And our last pit stop here in Tech and Utility Land is the 1-cost Timbu Ba, 2 health, 2/2, who has the ability Terror of the Microverse. When he appears, KO all enemy supporting characters with cost 1 or less, and enemy players cannot recruit characters with cost 1 or less. Don't think that just because Machine was banned and replaced that you're not going to still need Little Timmy. Cards like Wasp and Iceman still present issues to Mystique, whether it's her wanting to attack and flip the red for XP, or wanting to swing in for the alt win with Deadpool. Furthermore, Jose indicated that if we want our Lilith, Boomerang, Banshee, Daze plan to still be effective, we can't afford to have a wall of weenies gumming up the board. Because of all this and more, we're still going to run a playset of Timbu Ba in Multiverse. And last but not least, let's talk locations. We're playing a playset of Madripoor, Training Ground, Academy, and School for the Gifted Youngsters. So what sets are you going to need to build Mystique in this way? Well, we're looking at A-Force, Legacy, Monsters Unleashed, New Brotherhood, Galactic Guardians, Spidey Foes, The Marvel Battles, House of X, Into the Darkness, Brotherhood of Mutants, X-Force, and Futures Past. Of course, make sure to tune the deck according to your preferences and collection, and especially to your environment, whether that is locals and knowing how to beat specific matchups that you see in your hometown, or whether that is a format that we might be looking at currently or future. At the very least, when you play Multiverse against others, who are you playing against and how can you tech against them? That'll be something to consider. Thanks for tuning in to Community Cuts Mystique, and a big shout out to Jose. Congratulations for winning Worlds at Gen Con this year. I enjoyed picking your brain on this deck a little bit through messages and also listening to your interview on the build phase. Big shout out to Mr. Ben for interviewing Jose regarding this deck. And before you run off, don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. It really helps the channel and also helps spread the word about Versus System to PCG. We'll see you next time on Recover and Ready.